beautiful muses, and welcome back to Cosmo Muse Tarot. Today's reading I'm really excited about. I think it's going to be interesting and deep within, I'm trying to keep these now to about 15 minutes. We'll see, because this is a deep issue. But I'm excited for it. I am using as like the kickoff, the cornerstone card for this reading, this deck that is new. It's new in general, but definitely new to me, and it's called the Modern Nirvana, and it's quickly become one of my favorites, and just sort of like inspired me to kind of inquire and investigate in a reading what is sort of our main purpose for being here. And then we'll use some tarot, we'll use a few other oracle cards as well to go deeper into that question. And then we're going to use some tarot cards to investigate what currently is going on with that. How am I engaging with this purpose we've uncovered through the oracle cards? What evolution and challenges and successes are currently going on for me in relation to what I'm here overall and the bigger picture of things to be doing here. Yeah, so let's just dive into the piles. We're going to pick 4 cards or 4 piles. So pile 1 is going to be under Dalmatian Jasper. And we've got direction. Okay, pile 2 is going to be under Jade. I have such a hard time showing this stone with my lighting. I've got to figure that out. But it is green, a dark green. It just sort of looks black, I think, on camera. Okay, so pile 2 and Jade. Authentic expression, beautiful. And then we've got pile 3. This is just sort of like a off-white, grayish mineral stone from Idaho. And let's see what card we've got for pile 3. These are still a little bit stiff. I'm going to have to handle them a bit. Partnership. Beautiful. And then pile 4, we've got a snakeskin agate. And let's see what card we get for that. Oh, these are a little wonky. Okay. Friction. Beautiful cards. All right, so again, pile 1, we've got Dalmatian Jasper and direction. Pile 2, Jade and authentic expression. Pile 3, sort of a white mineral stone with partnership. And pile 4 is snakeskin agate and friction. And I do want to let you know that, there's other oracle cards that are going to be coloring what that overall purpose is. So don't necessarily buy into the wording here as an overall theme. It just is going to be part of the theme. And also when you get into the descriptions, oftentimes they go in a very different direction than we would imagine. So really just feel into kind of dropping sort of biases or attachments to different things, and just feeling into which pile has your message, which pile is kind of drawing you in. And for those of you that like to do the breath work, let's do that right now. So Take a deep breath in, pull it up, up, up to the space between your brows. Hold it in there. Suck in a little more for some pressure. And then with a loud exhale, opening the crown chakra. Okay, so if you need more time to do a couple more of those breaths or to feel into these different piles and cards, feel free to pause here. Otherwise, I will see you in your pile. Timestamps are in the description, so you can jump straight to yours. All right, I'll see you guys. Hello, pile one, and welcome to your reading. You guys picked the Dalmatian Jasper and the direction card from Modern Nirvana. So I've picked a few more oracle cards just now for you guys, and we will dive into tarot after we get through these, sort of investigating what that bigger purpose is, why you're here, and then we'll use some tarot to see right now what you're working through in relation to this. So the message that's come out here is really, really beautiful and interesting, and definitely kind of confirms to me on a bigger level that so many kind of mystics and spiritual people currently on our planet are here to, and you being one of them, the people coming to this group being part of this, is really anchoring in the sacred feminine in a way that has really been missing from Earth since the dawn of major civilization kind of came in. And especially since, like the Roman Empire started getting into that whole conquering and colonizing, and which then, spread all through the Europes, which then spread all through the world. And, and I'm sure that happened to a degree before the Romans, but that really set off, I think, kind of the era, eon, whatever it's called, that we are now kind of tearing down, and really seeing how it's just not a balanced system, and it really did a lot of damage to our balance in terms of not integrating, understanding, respecting, honoring the feminine the way that it should have been and needs to be in order to create a really balanced world. So that's like a really big message that came through kind of outside of the cards. But let's go through the cards here to get a little bit more nuanced about this, especially for you guys that came to this pile. So this direction card is telling me that the people in this pile, there's a huge thing on that you're learning in this lifetime about really trusting your heart to direct you. And so to me, that's saying that there's a lot of different dimensions and angles that are going to challenge you with that, whether it's sort of old programming, expectations, or just a path that your heart chose that ends up being really challenging. But part of what you're learning is that even with those challenges, that you need to keep trusting that path that your heart chose for you, even if it feels like it's going nowhere, it's just like really hard or daunting, overwhelming. Yeah, so those are two things I can think of. So like having to break out of, like, choose a path that is outside of what you'd been sort of ingrained with, expected to take on. So really having to go against the grain a little bit, really tearing down and shedding certain things that have gotten normalized. The overlay of things that get in the way of our true essence and where our heart, when it's just pure and not daunted with, all these mental things, really wants to take us. So yeah, just to kind of distill that again, even though I've already said it, either kind of like really going against the grain, having to shed old ways of doing things, expectations, or sticking to a path that your heart keeps demanding that you be on, but that is just like hitting your head against the wall sometimes. But you're just learning to trust your heart, and it's, yeah, so it's not an easy sort of thing to do and be, but the gift of really trusting your heart is the payoffs, is that when you trust it, when you push through those challenges, when you shed those constructs and go where it directs you to go, it is leading you somewhere beautiful. And I feel like you get there when you fully step into an allowance and stop fighting against your heart or fighting against what you think you should do versus what you know you should do. So I feel like your path becomes easier when you just trust and allow and flow with your heart. So easier said than done. I totally get that. Resonate a lot here. So and then the ring coming in was sort of like my first clue about a lot of this integrating in trusting intuition, trusting the cycles of life, trusting how to be receptive, trusting a sense of not only eternity and yourself is bigger than who you are in this lifetime, but sort of like a thread you weave in and out of different lifetimes, different places, being in the present, being in the future, astral projecting. It's sort of like this dimensional, because I see so many different cycles woven within. So it's like not just the seasons of life on earth, but it's sort of like this bigger pattern, like really feeling into. And I think there's a lot of information you can gain by just like going into sort of trance modes and or like listening to shamanic drumming, going on journeys, that kind of thing, where you can really start to plug into bigger cycles of energy and life, that you're part of weaving a fabric of something that's much bigger than you, that's much bigger than this lifetime. But also on that micro level, really understanding the non-linear aspect of life that I think more and more people are starting to really crave and dive into, and just wanting to, get their hands on and dig into it, of just, yeah, understanding the seasons and cycles, understanding your own age in life, your own connection to a season, just that more just real practical, tangible thing as well. And really understanding sort of the eternal nature of things, even in relationships. I think that you're someone that when you're really in the flow of this and kind of can let go with your heart and feel those bigger cyclical things that you're a part of, I think you sort of, because this can also relate to like our orbit around the sun, but you create sort of things that orbit around you when you really drop into this. And so like really drawing in soul people, soul community, soul tribes, soul animals, soul plant allies, soul locations, soul houses, whatever, like everything. When you're really in the flow, that your soul things orbit around, you bring them into your orbit. And so that's something you're also learning. So that could be a huge challenge for you at times in your life, of like when you're kind of blocked around this, of just feeling like you're not at home, either with the people or the place or the whatever, job, whatever it is, these moments where you're kind of like out of flow and like the right things are not, they don't feel like they're orbiting around you. You don't feel like you're anchored and grounded into who you are. And it's all about going back to your heart and trusting its path, even when it's telling you to do things that feel so like, either against the grain or just really challenging. And then where I got the whole like, I've already had this sense that there's a lot of the mystics here right now are really working on, and we just got this beautiful neighbor black cat visiting us right now. He's perched on a fence right in front of the window staring, which I always take as a sign. He's only been visiting the last couple weeks this way, so it's a new little animal ally that's come through. Anyway, a sign coming through that like there is a pioneering aspect to this kind of work currently on this planet of like really starting to honor the heart path, honor the cyclical nature of things, honor how things are a little bit more eternally centered rather than at this moment centered, like a bigger understanding of time within things as not being so set, so linear, so I think you get what I'm saying. And then I thought I would just read, this is a short from the Pioneer card. It's just like a short thing, so I thought I'd read that. And then I am going to read the description from the guidebook on this. I have my own thoughts about the sacred feminine, and I can certainly look at this picture and get certain downloads, but the writing is really beautiful, so I thought I'd just also bring that in on top of what I've already kind of just personally felt into. Okay, so the Pioneer, which is also card 5, which definitely indicates to me as well, bringing up this again, change, a lot of change in your life and needing to kind of surrender to the changing nature of life, which is sort of surrendering to that cyclical thing of like things aren't always as linear as we've been taught they are or modeled as being. Anyway. Okay, so discovery is found within release. We must let go of outdated notions, old patterns to clear space for the new. The Pioneer imbues you with trust in what is over the horizon, faith in what is yet unseen. And that's such a huge thing, is like trusting your heart to go. That's a third level of it, of not just towards challenges, but to things that there's no model for, things that are unseen, that aren't, you're having to be the pioneer with. Faith in what is yet unseen. Be open to wiping the slate clean. Loosen your grip on anything that is held too tightly. Freedom from attachment is the root of creative process. Begin again. So the more you can sort of detach, follow your heart, drop into this like bigger sense of yourself within these bigger patterns, it's just like this creativity comes into you, and you've probably experienced it at points and been like, how do I have more control of inviting that in? And this is sort of maybe a little bit of a roadmap of how that can happen, like really letting go of certain attachments and loosening your grip and walking towards the unseen that your heart directs you towards. Okay, let's read from the Sacred Feminine. And this is the Spiral Oracle, by the way. Okay, my brain has 2 hemispheres, the rational left and the intuitive right. At the same time, I hold feminine and masculine energy. Even though one of them may govern me, every human being, myself included, is both. Tao calls them yin and yang, and the two comprise the vital energy of qi. During the last few thousand years, patriarchal societies biased toward male energy have prevailed in the world. values, agreements, culture, ideas, intuitions, and almost everything around us is marked with this stamp. So it's better to ask myself, what or why are actions like competing, winning, consuming, and constant production considered virtues? Why do reason and objectivity take precedence over all other considerations like feeling, observing, empathizing? Why do we believe that instead of embracing life, we have to struggle? Because we have learned that what is masculine is related to conquest, achievement, and appropriation. Other values are often considered weak or of no use. The power and the importance of the feminine energy is not often recognized because it is vulnerable and therefore violated. Hence, this energy, essence of the earth, is systematically attacked in our civilization, in both women and men, and in the earth herself. Now I responsibly understand that this is inherited, and to solve this world conflict, I have to solve my inner conflicts. I embrace the sacred feminine in me. I connect with life, blood, cycles, what I feel, and that which I can't grasp with reason. Regeneration. I regenerate my feminine side. I release control so that creation can flourish along with intuition, dedication, and expression. When yin and yang encounter each other, everything becomes sacred and divine. Morning dew comes to kiss the land. The woman nurtures, the man rejoices. So this is also a clue to me that, it can be so hard to sort of work against that grain, or society so biased towards that reaching, striving, achieving, growth. That's that, yang principle, which, we do need. It's just not balanced enough yet with that receptivity, regeneration, willingness to destruct, to die, to just go through the cycles of life and embrace the fact that there's growth and death cycles and everything, and it's not always just growing. It just our roots can't hold that. And so there's, I think it's a hard thing sometimes to sort of work against the system as it is, that just sees that, it rewards that linear growth, striving, achieving, conquering mentality and type of work. And so you're going, sort of against the current, and it's hard. But there's deep creativity and receptivity that you can model in the world, and that will bring its rewards when you can trust and allow and just like really drop into it. Okay, we're just going to pick a few tarot cards because that went a little longer than I hoped, to just see a little something about right now, a message you need for right now in relation to what we've just gone over. And I'm just going to do upright for these. So 6 of Wands, 5 of Swords, and Queen of Wands. Yeah, what I'm feeling from this is, what it feels like to be dropped into this and feel your creativity, but there's something really blocking it right now. And I think it's because of certain groups, friendships, peers that you're around. There's like a need to like belong or live up to or compete with, or it's probably different for each of you, but there's something around kind of like the groups you're with that are really blocking you from your own illumination and fluid creativity with this kind of feminine energy. And the minute you can kind of detach from needing to live up to what is felt into around these people, these groups, these peers, these could even be, I don't really want to say family. It feels a lot more like either a group or some friendships or something. Like the more you can detach from needing to be seen and seen a certain way by them. And another question to ask here is, are these even the right people? If they can't see me, are these the right people I should be surrounding myself with? And that's not to say you have to cut people off or like think they're bad. It's just, like what you're doing really, the more you can be around other people who get this type of thing and are doing it, working on that themselves, the more you can kind of like really drop into it and respect it yourself instead of trying to live this more, like, I feel like this is a very masculine group, whether it's an industry you're in, a group you're associated with that's really important, or some friendships. Yeah, it's just like it's blocking you from this. It's blocking you from this, and it's leading you towards that over abundance of that yang energy. And I'm not saying like get rid of all the yang. Of course, we need the balance. This is about finding the balance by healing the yin and respecting the yin, but there's a block from it here. And instead of like trying to win them over or trying to do it and be seen by who these people are, what this group is or industry is, it's yeah, it's sort of like you don't necessarily have to get rid of them, but you need to integrate different people into your life that see you, that are doing similar things, that understand, see, and are also on this journey. You've got to balance it. You've got to balance how many people, who sees you for what you need to be seen for. I think this group sees certain things in you that you do need seen, but there's a huge gap and a huge lack in people seeing this side of you. And when you can integrate those people and do some work on finding those people and cherishing those people and seeing them as well, your vibrancy comes back to life. So I feel like that's what's going on now. You have this ability to just like really glow and model so well in this area and create so well in this area. There's a block, and when you figure this out and figure out how to be seen by just some different surroundings of groups and people, your creativity really comes back to life, and you drop further into not just having creativity, but owning your strength and your command in this, in that feminine way, in that deeply creative, enriching, enchanting, feminine, receptive way. So really beautiful. Okay, we're just going to get a quick last message from the crystals that we can leave you with as a parting message. Adventuring, create your own luck. And I love that. This is all about kind of forging your own path, being this pioneer. The luck you're seeing is out there, but it's not just going to land on you. You have to forge some paths towards it. You have to surround yourself with people who respect the work you're doing and see. You need to find the people who can see the parts of you that are not being seen right now. And that will help you forge, help you towards believing that you can create your own luck. So that's where I'm going to leave you, pile one. Really big message, beautiful, beautiful stuff. massively needed type of people in this world. And I think, yeah, I think we're growing in number. I definitely consider myself part of this for sure, relate to it at least. So yeah, I feel like we're growing in number, and I feel like there's people out there that understand this, and more every year, more and more people are dropping into this and getting it. And so, it's out there. Just, find your people somehow that can see this side of you and cherish and honor it and support it. So, okay, if this resonated, I always appreciate the support, thumbs up, comments, subscriptions. Thank you for letting me read for you, and I hope to see you in more readings. Hello, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading all about what is your purpose in this lifetime. Why are you here? What are you learning? So if this is you guys, you picked the Jade Palm Stone and the Authentic Expression from our modern Nirvana deck. So right away, what jumps out to me beyond what's inside of these cards is the color scheme here, and then the artist popping out. It's sort of like these cards couldn't color-wise go any better together. It's like these soft pastels heightening into, in the same kind of colorway, some sort of electric colors coming up through. So like moving from this softness, mistiness to these intense, shocks of color. And then you've got the artist here, and it's just like, yeah, of course, this is the pile of the artist. So, okay, diving into the actual cards though. So our purpose is always something that's a challenge. So it's not, if we came in already masters of this, what's the point? so there's, for each of these piles, there's a challenge here. And really, in this lifetime, a lot of things would come up against to really know how to honor this and hone what this purpose is within us. And what's going on here in terms of all of these cards, and I'm going to read from the book for these two. I'm just less familiar with these decks and want to do the creators justice with their interpretations beyond, things I might have to say. Anyway, so starting over here though, with authentic expression, there is this thing of needing to find a certain embodiment in order to be present and aware and responding to life naturally. So the biggest challenge I foresee for you guys is like really getting into your head sometimes and really thinking that you need to understand certain things on an intellectual level in order to make your art connect or resonate. And that's actually really fighting against what people are going to connect or resonate with. And yeah, it's sort of about in the kind of animistic theory of the, like, everything has energy, so everything has sort of a life within it. There's this thing of needing to be like deeply embodied so you can be deeply receptive to drawing up that energy and that life force of things, and just letting your body assimilate it and then express it. And sometimes there's not really like a linear, logical, intellectual way of doing that. It's a very embodied way of being. And so I think that there's this thing in you that constantly has this battle of like really needing to be up in your head versus embodied, and like thinking you need to have some profound intellect integrated into your expression. But what we'll see, and I'm just going to read the artist because this is sort of where I'm wanting to go. I'm going to get back to the river. So this artist card ties into where I want to go here. It says a limitless card. The artist is the creator, the visionary, a weaver of worlds and souls. This is a calling to your inner artist to create from this pure and divine place without inhibition or doubt. And that inhibition and doubt is a very mental thing. It's getting trapped in our minds. But here's the thing that I really want to build upon here is use your vision to unite the soul to nature and humanity. There's something about, at least in terms of the way your artist archetype expresses and works and channels and is inspired, is from the natural, that energy, that animism of really being receptive to nature and its communications and its patterns, but in this intuitive way, in this way that just your body sucks it up. It mingles with your own nature and you put it out then. So it's like this receptivity that draws in, and then that active part. So the yin of receiving, and then the yang of putting it back out into the world in the way that, your body as a lens interprets what was received. And it's so not about mind. And there's this huge trapping. I'm going to finish. There's this one more sentence here. Build upon your bond with the wild world. Deepen into the interconnection of each natural entity. Your bond with the wild world, not your intellectual understanding of the wild world. And I'm not saying in this that you shouldn't have any intellectual understanding. I think for your own curiosity and your own just building of understanding the world, like, yeah, learn the mechanics of it, great. But when you're really wanting to express something, it's needing to come from that bond rather than that intellectual conceptualization of things. So I think that's something really deep to understand about how your energy works and what your soul is really working on in this lifetime of really overcoming these mental trappings. And then another aspect to this energy, to this purpose, is this movement that's going on. Expression is movement. The artist is taking in that bond with the natural world, and then the river is movement. And the river here to me is saying, again, it's not an intellectual type of energy. It just moves because it needs to move. It's water that's coming from higher elevation, going back down to sea level into the sea. It starts up at a glacier. The gravity is pulling it, and it has to move. It's fluid. And so there's what is gravity pulling you, stop trying to Rubik's Cube things. What is gravity? What has to move out of you due to gravity, not due to some need to be seen as this brilliant mind artist. You're a heart, you're water, it's just an expression. And then also this letting go of an attachment of needing everything. I think with the artist archetype as something that's a deep purpose for you in a lifetime is really detaching from needing everything you put out to be interpreted how you want it to be interpreted, to be applauded the way you hope it's going to be applauded. You need to just put it out because that's what you do. And naturally, when you're connected to your nature, to the bond of nature, to your gravity, to your body, things will, not every single thing, but things will, in moments, strike chords. And with that flow like the river, there's this thing of like really being able to soften edges. You know, part of it's just even practice. Learning how to soften the edges of things in yourself, in the world, in others. And it's also this place symbolically where people will do rituals such as baptisms, where you can really wash away these things that need to be washed away, such as shame or guilt or sin or whatever. Like, it's a place where you can just really let these things just drip off of you that need to be gone, and just like really connecting to your emotion and the gravity of your emotion and letting that move you. Yeah, so beautiful. And reflection in the river. I love seeing this, like the horse. This is actually like a horse's reflection, not an actual horse. And it's sort of like that emotion and movement can really help bring reflection back to you that's that shows you your beauty and shows you your, you know, because the horse here, like a certain magnificence that, you know, is there. And then just reading from the energy of the Andes as well for this. Okay, there is an energy movement rising from the base of my body through my spine. At the same time, an immense movement of energy is emerging from the center of the earth to the surface. So again, we have this movement, and this again is like more of that receptive thing. There's energy in matter that when you're truly embodied, you can receive and let it move up into and through you. Just like the river moving, you know, letting that gravity move you to source, pulling source up from the earth into your body. You know, there's a deep receptivity here, and that's where you're going to be inspired, is through that receptivity to nature and your bond to nature and understanding when you're receiving. Okay, let's see, where was I? In both events, I can glimpse the movement of a consciousness and the connection with the earth's core. And that's in that animism I've talked about. There's consciousness and everything, and it's not an intellectual consciousness. It's just like energy and aliveness and awareness, you know? So it's again like tapping a little bit more into consciousness rather than intellect, and into emotion and moving and receptivity and channeling. Okay, in the Andes landscape, the energy of a uterus opens up, reminiscent of the primordial energy of life. In the mountains, I am born again, and I acknowledge that the feminine energy is open there and is open for the entire world. I am from the earth. I remember my connection with this living organism. I am in communion with life and all living things. Again, a bond with nature, with living things, and now a communion with them, kind of the same thing. The planet's transformation opens all of my doors. With my joy and open heart, I start to create higher vibrations, and I flow following the beat of Mother Earth, transforming myself along with her. And there's something about really understanding, you know, the transformation of matter, of earth, of nature, and that cyclical thing, and being receptive and open and vulnerable with that really brings you into that flow and that unity with nature. Okay, remember, I remember what I have forgotten. The ancient knowledge is renewed in me. I am the earth itself, and I activate this wisdom in every cell of my body. And I love that ancient knowledge is renewed in me. By dropping into this deep receptivity and bond and communion with the natural world, you understand things that you'll never find in a book. You know, it's yeah, so a deep thing coming in with this with this purpose of like really getting into embodiment, into communion with nature, with connecting. And so being able to connect your own soul with nature, hence then being able to connect other people's souls with nature, hence then even humanity with that soul connection to nature. And it's not an intellectual thing. So, yeah, there's that. Okay, so you artists and getting into body and embodiment and gravity and flow and movement and out of the head where doubt and trappings and judgments live. What right now, we're just going to pull like 3 tarot cards. What right now do you need to know about this journey and this purpose? In what way are you working with this right now, or what is something that you need to know currently about this? Let's see, I'm just going to do upright with these. The High Priestess, beautiful. Transformation. Four of Cups. Yeah, what I'm getting is like you are currently working with all of this very intuitively, and I think there's a struggle right now too. It's like you know what is going on with your artistry, with your soul. It's in like a chrysalis, like the caterpillar has gone into the chrysalis and is turning into a soup before it recongeals as a butterfly. And it's sort of like you have deeply integrated and trust your High Priestess archetype. You know on a level something is very deeply transforming within you, but you're questioning it. There's like an impatience or something going on, and you're like, I know, but do I? You know, it's a thing that you know, but it's getting in your head about some sort of transformation right now where you're needing some time. It's not a time to be doing the output. This is a time to be very deeply receptive and feeling that energy of nature coming up into you, building a bond with nature, a communion with nature, because you're transforming. And so you need to be very, very receptive right now and kind of like shut down that output at the moment. You're really channeling in some things that are really reshaping you, and that takes time. And so yeah, I feel like there's sort of this impatience here, and this Four of Cups is sort of like, you know, on some level I know this and I've submitted to it, but I'm like just almost bored by it. Just what I feel. And I think the way you can get over that sort of maybe either impatience or boredom or frustration is by getting into nature and just building your communion and bond with nature right now, with animals, with the world of water, with the moon, with the earth below you. You don't even have to live somewhere like super you know, accessible to deep nature. Like there's animals all over the place. Commune with the animals. Take baths, you know, when you take a shower in the morning or the evening, whenever you do your shower, it's like commune with that water. That's nature. Go out and look at the moon whenever it's up, whether that's in the day or the night. Commune with the moon. It's just like build those that communion and that bond with nature right now, and you'll become more awestruck rather than sort of frustrated. But that, you know, there's a transformation coming, and it feels big because I feel like you've been waiting. Like this just feels like I've been waiting. Like, yeah. So just trust the process. You know and you know. So just, chill the F out and really deeply commune with nature. And this will really help this transformation be a process that feels beautiful, that feels like art, that you can be in awe of rather than impatient with. Okay, a last card from the world of crystals. Just a little parting message. Also, I can't help but notice, look at the cards we pulled sort of have the same thing where it's like these beautiful, soft colors that go together, and then this shock of brighter, kind of more electric, all within sort of these similar tones. And then we've got this bright red that sticks out. Red Jasper, take action. And I'm going to say that take action is take action with communing with nature, with building your deep relationships with nature, so you can be involved with your transformation rather than waiting for it. That's what I feel like the take action is about, is being an active part of your transformation, which is, deeply communing with life and transformation of nature. Where I am, at least right now, it's autumn, and so there is that transformation going on in nature. And get out and just witness that. The leaves falling, the leaves disintegrating into the ground, the wetness kind of, breaking things down. So that is where I'm going to leave you guys. Beautiful, beautiful. I love your journey. I'm just like awestruck by the whole palette that's come out here. So I feel how profound you guys probably are, and just that encouragement to get out of your head and just be in your body and connected to life. All right, so if this reading resonated, I definitely feel that support from everyone when you can give a thumbs up or a comment or a subscription to my channel. And I hope to also see you in more readings. All right, see you guys. Hello, Pile 3, and welcome to your reading all about what is kind of the overarching big purpose, why you're here. So really interesting stuff that I'm seeing. If this is you guys, just to start, you picked this sort of off-white mineral stone and the partnership card from the Modern Nirvana. Okay, so I'm going to read from the book for these two. I'm not as familiar with these decks, so I'll get to those in just a minute, but I'll start with these two. So something about your purpose in this lifetime is all about the understanding of commitments. Partnerships, relationships, they're all about a deep commitment and a deep finding of trust and respect for others, finding cooperation, finding compromise. But I feel like at the root of it, there's this deep thing about commitment and respect. And so there's several questions you can sort of ask yourself is, how am I a good partner to myself? How am I a good partner to enlist anyone you're in partnership with, whether that's business, relationship, family, a job, whatever it is. It's like, how am I a good partner here? How am I fully committed? And do I have issues with committing? And why is that? Do I trust myself to know how to trust others and who to trust and when to trust? If that's something that feels triggering, it's worth then being a good starting with being a good partner to you first. How do I commit to myself? How do I honor and respect myself? And then really taking that forward. This is a really mature sort of purpose to be here for. This is really tough stuff. So then it's sort of like, well, then once I can do that with myself, once I can really commit to being a good partner to myself, how can I show up in that same way in everything that I commit to being a partner to or with or for or whatever. So that's one, is both beautiful and challenging. And then we have the hunter overlay here. And this is showing another challenge that you guys might be sort of facing is this polarity of, and polarity as well as a resonance of like, when you commit to something, to someone, and when you feel the desire to, are they resonant towards you? Are they committing to you as well? There may be a thing in you of this like eagerness to develop and understand and work in the realm of partnership that you might be like overlooking how much others are responsive to that, committed on their side, even interested in a commitment. And there can be sort of this thing in you that's a little bit of needing to like conquer relationships. And I mean this like in a non-predator type way. But there can be this need, I think, that sometimes you need to kind of step back and be like, hey, am I being committed to, or am I just chasing down something that's not really looking for a commitment and trying to force a commitment here? So this is definitely like a big thing of like coming into a certain awareness, both of yourself and other, of like, am I trying to force commitments? Am I chasing commitments? How can I ease up on that and see what's wanting to be committed to and in relationship to me, and then join into and commit to things that end up being that much easier because I'm not trying to force it. So yeah, there's some things that I feel like might need to be worked through there. Just a little bit more awareness of what that exchange is, what that resonance is, what the other side is doing versus what you're doing in the relationship, in a commitment. Yeah, we don't want to overwork things when they're just not willing to be, committed. So yeah, there's that. Okay, let's read for these two and see what these add in. And I love harmony. That goes so well with partnership. It's that flow of, the tensions of finding, if you're like tuning an instrument, finding that right tension that creates, that beautiful note that then can create harmonies. And anyway, let's see what the actual card says. Okay. Three of Harmony. Harmony within order. The Three of Harmony lends us consistency and a sense of direction. Creativity can flourish once we have tidied away what may be interfering with the process. This card indicates the process of the presence of an overcomplication. That's what I was feeling. Yeah, anyway. Take stock, establish creative rituals, find the openings created by order. Clear your space physically and energetically. Yeah, I feel like one way you can sort of build that trust with yourself is a certain consistency in how you commit to yourself. What are some rituals you can do, especially around creating clean and clear spaces in your environment, cleaning and clearing away your own things with your own body, just creating harmony within you and around you. And then from that, like making that feel very natural and simple and elegant because of that consistent ritualistic thing of doing, committing to yourself, committing to rituals for you, being in partnership with yourself, will help you to identify those willing to put that kind of commitment into a relationship. I think it takes for you committing to yourself and beautiful rituals for you, to you, with yourself, to recognize the kind of work it takes to really commit and be a partner, and then that helping you to recognize in others when they're willing to put that kind of energy that you're willing to put into things, instead of like, trying to chase and make and force certain relationships to be natural that just aren't. Just it's like this better understanding of what commitment and partnership mean by doing that ritualistically for yourself, building that harmony for yourself of how deeply you can commit to being in partnership with you. It will give you that recognition. It will give you that understanding of what to chase, of what to, because I do think there's something beautiful with the hunter. We can't just let everything come to us. But if you understand what it takes to be truly committed, you can then recognize it and you can go after that. And once that you go after, that you recognize as being that in harmony as well with commitment and relationship, it ends up being this beautiful, equally invested kind of thing going on. Okay, let's read the Dance of Heartbeats card. Let's see, hold on one second. There we go. Okay. When I approach the world and the world is bleak, I feel like the desolate wilderness. When I see you with those empty, dark, and absent eyes, my colors darken. When you define our boundaries out loud or just with a glance, I fragment. Okay, when there is ringing silence in the face of injustice, my whole body shakes. All this happens because we are being united in a delicate living tissue, sharing the same ancient wound and the same cosmic dance that moves us between joy and sadness. Recognizing my sensitivity, today I honor and listen to it without underestimating it and without identifying myself with it. I attentively observe every sensation I experience. I am moved, letting myself be carried away by the heartbeat of the mystery. In that swaying, I realize that I am also responsible for my enjoyment, for my bliss. I open myself with awakened curiosity to the precious and wild creation that I am. Enjoyment. Today, I delicately treat our pains and limitations, both yours and my own, with love, compassion, and patience. As an alchemist, I change the dense into fluidity. I transform the pain into joy and vulnerability. I explore the sublime enjoyment, the caress of water on my skin, the warmth of my inner fire. I recognize the healthy boundaries that encompass love, respecting my own space and the spaces I share with others. Exactly. Naturally, I allow the nectar of life to gently bring together what once felt separate. I now dance in unison with life, discovering new and unexpected dimensions of my being. Yeah, this is also this beautiful, I love this image, dance of heartbeats, this knowing of like when you're in unison with things, when that flow is easy, resonant, connected. Hence, like, in this understanding of what your boundaries are. When you can recognize your own boundaries, you can recognize other people's boundaries, and just like being in a deep respect to of your spaces, of other people's spaces. There's something about that creates that harmony, that creates that deep respect. And then something that came through, I don't even remember what it was I read, but like it just connected here for me, of like the higher octave of the hunter, when you kind of get this deeper understanding of respect for boundaries, of being the best possible partner to yourself, and understanding the harmony that creates. So being able to identify it in others and look for that. When you are in this dance of heartbeat, when you find the right relationships, the partnerships, the energy you have in those together as a unit, the way you'll be able to identify when those are on track, in sync, going where they're supposed to go, is you guys will take this archetype on as a unit. Whether that's in business, love, friendship, whatever it is, like when you are in the right partnerships where things are in that dance of heartbeat, in harmony, in unison, fully committed, you guys know how to hunt and go after, really charge into life and go after what you really want, and really make headway in life, really make headway, make a splash in life, in whatever it is. Like you really know how to go after things together. Like you're each different legs of the same horse charging forward towards like a very specific target. You know how to go for it, So that's the higher octave of the hunter coming through there. Okay, beautiful kind of soul purpose in this lifetime. Really, really mature thing to be engaging with and working with. So definitely, not easy, but it shows that you're probably maybe slightly more mature souls. Okay, we're just going to pick 3 tarot cards to see right now as relates to this purpose. What do you need to know? What's going on? Okay, we've got 4 of Wands. That's beautiful. Out. Knight of Crystals. And 5 of Cups. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I can't really fully sugarcoat this. I think you're in a big learning curve with this right now. I think that you may be in that earlier archetype of the hunter, really found something that you thought was going to sort of bring you that joy and stability in terms of a partnership, whether that be love or friendship or business. You thought there was going to be like a very quick and some beautiful value, and like look at this, like a deep commitment. like you could will something into a deep, beautiful commitment because you saw the potential value here and sort of really saw something that had the potential to be celebrated. But I think, you know, that awareness of the other maybe wasn't quite honed. I don't think they were as committed as you. And right now there's a little bit of this reckoning around how committed this person is willing to be, and sort of feeling maybe like there's something pulling away here. Yeah, so it's like going into that hunter thing of, is this something you maybe chased down and tried to make it I mean, I don't want to go so far as like saying that you tried to force a relationship, but kind of put like just a slight willingness to kind of have your rose glasses on and not see the reality of how committed someone was, and like really put a lot of energy into like chasing and hunting this relationship. And it's I think right now you're coming to a realization of that commitment not having the potential you hoped it would, and so having to decide, you know, there's still some good things about this relationship, but you might need to just change the boundaries of what it is in your life. Yeah, I think there's just a lot that you're kind of reckoning with right now about a certain relationship and how committed the other side is, or for some of you, how committed you for some reason right now want to be. Yeah, and I'm just gonna say, drop into that harmony card, really commit to being your best partner and treat yourself the way you should be treated if you were in a partnership. And it will really help to build up a knowledge base of what commitment looks like. And so the next round, being able to see more clearly where someone else's commitment level is versus your own. And I'm not saying that this has to be the end of the road for all of you in some relationship. I think for a lot of you it is. In this particular Five of Cups, 4 of the cups are upright instead of 2. Usually like 3 are tipped and 2 are up, but in this one 4 are up and 1 is tipped. So it feels a little bit more like just like really needing to look at this relationship for what it is and redraw those boundaries, and you know, see that there are some beautiful things there, but not necessarily all that you thought. And so, yeah, some decisions I think needing to be made of, well, this relationship can only go to a certain level in my life. There isn't a full commitment here. And so am I willing to accept that, or do I want a full commitment where everything is committed to in the way that I do, in the way that I commit? Or if this is reverse of like something about you is pulling away from commitment, sort of analyzing that. But there's something here you're needing to like really look at with more clear vision, taking off the rose-colored glasses and seeing the commitment level on each side, and just, yeah, figuring out what that means for you, and how, in what way does this go forward or not then. Okay, parting little message from the world of crystals, just a little something to leave you guys with. Euconite, live in the now. Beautiful. And I think that might be, you know, like looking at this Knight of Wands here is sort of like this, I feel like a lot of seeing what could be and the value of what could be, but maybe you need to look into what's happening now though. Like, yeah, there's a lot of could be's, but what's actual right now? Live in that. What is that? Okay, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. And really, really beautiful. I mean, I definitely get that sense from you that you are people that know how to just fully dive in and fully commit yourselves, and just such beautiful ability with partnership in the world, which is such a, yeah, just a gorgeous thing. And a tough, mature thing to really master and grasp, and yeah, so comes with its challenges and its beauties. So, all right. Anyway, this is where I'm going to leave you guys, and I hope this resonated. If this did, I always appreciate and feel supported with the things such as the thumbs up, comments, definitely subscriptions. And yeah, I will hope to see you guys in more readings. Hello, Pile 4. Welcome to your reading all about what your purpose is in this lifetime. Why are you here? Kind of a big picture, big focus type of thing. So if this is you guys, you picked the Snakeskin Agate and the Friction card from the Modern Nirvana, which I think is such a beautiful, I don't know, I'm very drawn to that card. I think it's so beautiful. Okay, so diving into this, I'm going to read from the book for these last two. So I'm going to start with these since I'm more familiar with these decks. You guys are really, like, I don't want to say young souls, but whatever, because you may actually be old souls. Actually, I shouldn't have brought that up. I don't think it matters how old or young your soul is. But what is young or old is what you're learning, what you're integrating into yourself on a soul level in the bigger picture. And this is sort of talking about if someone were to reincarnate thousands of times on Earth. There's a lot of things you would go through, lessons to learn. And so whatever you're anchoring into in this lifetime and really pushing into to learn is new. So you could be an old soul learning something new, or this could be on an even deeper level of just being a very new soul to Earth, at least. So whatever it is, whether it's just something new your soul is learning, or a pretty new soul to this place, there's an enormity to it. There is this thing of feeling like nothing is completely in focus yet, because this is so new. Whatever it is you've come here to do and be and learn. And the energy that comes along with that, when I think of the Chinese medicine system or like Tai Chi, the energy of wood is that spring energy. And it has, like, when it's balanced, there's a sense of sort of kindness with it. But when it's out of balance, there's this thing of really not liking to be thwarted, having some frustration and anger. And so there's like this new growth coming in your soul. And because it feels the enormity of how far it needs to go and how much it doesn't know, there's this sort of like eagerness to jump in and dive in, and this willingness to create friction in life in order to do that. And so some of the lessons here are just to kind of temper some patience But to not be scared of that friction, because that friction is helping you to define things, helping you to understand where your boundaries are, helping you to draw boundaries, helping you to understand what you do and don't like, hence understand how to make decisions. And the way I also see it astrologically speaking, in kind of the spring quarter of the zodiac, which is like Aries, Taurus, Gemini, there are some tighter boundaries with those signs, the first signs of the zodiac, where you know much more quickly when your boundary has been hit. And so you're much more quick to make decisions, to assert yourself, to cut cords. So some of this friction stuff and the sword stuff is exactly what you need to make headway, to start making sense of what the hell it is you're here to do. And because I think this is different for everyone, I'm not feeling, I know, and I love that the Enigma card showed up, because like, I think all you would want me to do is define what this is for you, but it's different for everyone. It's just something new for you guys. Maybe I can draw some cards at the end to kind of pick out 3 or 4 different things that may be the thing that's new. But I think what's being communicated here is about the energy around you when you feel the enormity of something you're just stepping foot into and really needing to start to grasp what it is, what your place in it is, where are its boundaries, where are your boundaries, and really, being assertive and pushing forward into things. And so having to be a little bit sharp, a little bit even prickly at some times, just in order to, it's like, in order to focus the lens of what this new thing is that you're shaping and molding. So also, like, on that note, like, I see this trying to communicate to you. I think that's what it is. Okay, so I am actually not going to pull cards to because I think the spirits are like, wait a minute, like, they're the ones that need to define what it is that's new and figure it out. There's a reason why things are out of focus right now. Is you are an active participant in molding life right now, and molding what that new thing is. It isn't fully defined yet what that new thing is. You get to be an active participant in defining what you're setting out to newly define about yourself, newly carve out as part of your soul. So I feel like you came here with this blank slate of like, I just want to develop something different, something new, have different experiences, new experiences. And I want to leave that slate open and mold that once I get back on earth and touch it and see what the environment's like. So you're an active participant in being able to decide what it is you're even newly charging into. So being the sculptor of what this new thing is, hence even more motivation to lean into some friction, to lean into being decisive, into what decisions say about you and what you're trying to do. So really paying attention to the types of decisions you make in life, because they're going to say a lot about your preferences and where you're trying to go. Okay, so I do want to now read, oh goodness, here they are, for these 2 out of the book. So Enigma number 6. Okay, The enigma usually appears in moments of uncertainty. It can signify blocked paths or energies cloaked in unnerving mystery. This requires you to sit with the unknown, sink deeper into any discerning feelings that may arise from ambiguity. To sink deeper into any disconcerting feelings that may arise from ambiguity. Often the clarity we seek surfaces from these internal perceptions rather than the subject in question. Ooh, very interesting. But it definitely ties into that sort of like, yeah, something's not like you are the co-creator of forming whatever this is. It isn't totally formed. And so where you may need a little bit of patience and introspection and to kind of resist and pull back a little is when things feel overwhelmingly ambiguous, where you don't know how to tap into that strong sword cutting path, asserting boundaries, making decisions. When that sword tool of yours doesn't feel ready to do something, that's when you need to sort of pull back, drop into yourself, feel what kind of disconcerting any feelings that are in you about this, and let that ambiguity be there and feel what you feel about that. And notice the perceptions you have about whatever it is you're kind of resisting or using restraint. That's the word I want to use. Whatever you're using restraint around because you don't quite know the clear-cut thing here, that when you sit with this and you say out loud or just clearly to yourself, like, this is ambiguous, and sit with that and sit with the feelings that brings up, use the perceptions and those feelings to help you. And you'll know, like, you'll feel those moments, they'll be sharp of like, oh, I know what to do now. And it's not so much about the big picture, it's about this moment, and it's those, every little decision you make along the way is better molding and clarifying and showing to you what it is you're doing. So really interesting path here, kind of cool. Okay, and then we're going to read Conscious 2. Okay, I am face to face with myself. I am conscious about what is running through. Am I conscious about what is running through my mind? Do I truly realize the words coming out of my mouth? Can I observe the character I have become and be at peace with my actions? Beautiful thing to bring into this is like maybe like a consistent practice where you sit with your own consciousness and ask how these decisions are molding you. Reflect on how you're making decisions, what decisions you've been making, and do you like what they're molding in you and your consciousness? And because this is so new, I feel like all through this lifetime, you have that ability to change course at any moment, to tweak how you're molding things to better witness your consciousness in a way that you feel good about. Okay, there are shadows within me. I integrate and illuminate them day by day because there in the darkness is where the most sought after treasure is hidden. Those unconscious masks only damage me. My own shadow has caused me hard times, leaving my heart and my mind blind to see the most beautiful things of life. I have been contaminated and no one is responsible but me. It's time to come clean, empty, accept, and forgive myself. I understand that not only do I have my stories, but that I embody them and have become them. Okay, so integrate. I accept, I take over, I take responsibility for my actions. I open up the darkness by incorporating it as it was, as it is. I leave behind the judgments about me. I am grateful for this opportunity and I embrace what I choose to be now. And I feel so much that this is all about choice. The decisions you make are what are molding you into what you're becoming or what you are newly forging a path in. And because it's a time of having to move quickly, make quick decisions, and not having the big picture, I think this regular time of sitting down and reflecting and being very, very self-compassionate and very, very forgiving of things that you may do that you look back and like, oh yeah, I think now that I'm reflecting that maybe was harsh or, you know, impetuous and didn't quite go as I planned or lead to where I wanted it to lead, or it was a little brash or something, you know, those types of things. I think you need to regularly sit down and reflect on that. What can you forgive yourself for? What can you do more compassionately in general? And what can, you know, taking accountability and responsibility for your decisions. As well as for sometimes in these early phases of newly forging a path, things can happen that are out of our hands or our control that are kind of nudging us towards what, you know, we wanted to have as part of this new thing integrating. Even if we you know, because earlier I said like maybe you came down with this blank slate, but maybe there were certain things sort of like, you know, I do want to develop more compassion in life. And so part of, even though that's a very ambiguous thing and you're coming in with a blank slate, something that sets that journey off could be really traumatic or really difficult. And so some of these things that I think for many of you could have been felt as harsh or felt as really crossed a boundary for us were things that were helping us to establish like no boundaries, but also things that were pushing us to take responsibility for whatever it is that ends up being on our path. Even if we didn't place it there, we didn't ask for it, felt like it came out of nowhere, felt like we didn't deserve it. But that stepping up, like, okay, well, this is on my path now, and so I'm taking responsibility for this, and I'm going to do with it. I'm going to use it to be part of what I mold, to give some sort of purpose and motivation for where my path leads and goes now. And so this, yeah, really sitting and reflecting with your consciousness and how you feel about what you're seeing in reflection. Yeah, just integrating those things of like, you know, it's all about the decisions I make with what's here now. I'm responsible for my decisions and I'm responsible for what is on my path, whether I asked for it or not. So, wow, really powerful stuff, you guys. Okay, we are going to draw just a few tarot cards to see currently, because this is sort of big picture. Currently, right this moment, as you're seeing this reading, woo, what is something to know about how this path is going, what Spirit wants to tell you about where you are in relation to this, what's going on in relation to it. We'll just see what comes up. Justice. King of Swords. Wow, that feels very... Two of Wands. Wow, powerful, very powerful. I think you're at a moment where it's, you know, some big things have maybe happened, or, you know, decisions you've made currently or just recently are kind of really bringing some new balance into your life. And some of those decisions may have to do with just accepting certain responsibilities or accountabilities, or just accepting what is on your path and deciding to be proactive about it, to find ways to use it. And there's something about, like, this card has like a deep reflection, sort of like each half is reflection of itself. This deep balance by like really seeing the reality of where your path is, what you have actually molded, and having like this moment of deep clarity about it, and just like stepping up and being like, you know, this is what's here. This is what's on my path. I am taking charge of this path. This is mine. And really commanding the power and authority of your mind, of your intellect, of your understanding, to push forward with much more balance, with much more insight and integration of self. And it's like some clarity has really come through. Like maybe you don't see the whole picture that's being carved about this new path, but you see the path you are on, and you see new potentials of how to work with the path, how to manage the path, how to be the designer of this path, how to co-create with the path, just by stepping into your authority, which means being responsible for what's there. Taking action on any healing you need, taking action for your life, taking accountability for your life, being an active participant in imagining what you want it to be. It's a really beautiful moment. Like you're really, like, some deep clarity is just like really coming through here, and some breakthroughs, some ahas, and some just like huge maturity flooding in of like, hey, you know what, if I want things to go in a way that make me feel good, and if I want to feel good about myself, I'm the one that has to do that for me. You're getting that, and like really, really seeing that, like, yeah, something about being and forging a new path really requires you to be an active participant, especially within some things that can be really difficult and challenging and feel potentially unfair. And that's just part of that motivation that springs us into being like, you know, it's up to me. No one's coming to save me. It's up to me to design what I want out of this enigma of whatever this is that I'm molding, that I'm forging into. I get to decide what that is, and it's time to step up to that. Okay. That's where I'm going to leave it. I feel very empowered saying that. Like, I feel like you guys are in a very huge aha moment and feel very powerful about it. So really cool. Okay, I'm just going to leave you with a crystal message from the crystal realm. Just a small parting message. Agate. Get back into balance. Yeah, this is like you're recognizing this, that it's up to you to bring balance, to bring justice, to to create the balance and the beauty and the harmony. You want this path. You want this unknown to form into. That's up to you, and you're getting it. And I think you've already just stepped into like really at least understanding it, and now it's time to take some steps. It does feel new, like that download has just come, and now it's like, okay, take a step. And so this is just like that confirmation of like, yeah, get back into balance. You get it. Now do it. Which just means just do. Like, what do you want to see? What do you want to feel? Be proactive about doing things that will bring that. Yeah, there's a lot of passion in you, because I got very charged up there. So I feel like you're ready. You're ready and willing and eager to, yeah, just go. So, all right, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. Thank you for letting me read for you. I also definitely appreciate in return the things like thumbs up, little comments, and definitely subscriptions. All right, I hope to see you guys in more readings.